Yes, you did. Made it weird.
What's happening, weirdos? This is an exciting week for old Petey. Not only is Jonathan Scott, who you may know from Property Brothers, like the biggest home renovation TV show in recorded history, is on the show. Also, this is one of those "Did we just become best friends?" episodes, which I love. He's so engaging. He's so interesting. He's so funny. He's so open. I loved it. You're going to love it. Thanks for being here. But it's a big week also because my Netflix special dropped yesterday. So it's on Netflix. I Am Not For Everyone. It's on Netflix right now. My first Netflix special. I'm very, very excited. Please, 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 please check it out. I hope you like it. I worked really hard on it. I'm proud of it. And I think far and away it's my best special yet. So please check that out. And if you'd like to see me on the road, I'm doing a new hour, not the hour from I Am Not For Everyone. That is retired. I'm doing a new hour. I'll be in Bloomington, Indiana this weekend. And then after that is Chicago and Washington, D.C. All the dates will be added at peteholmes.com. Only a couple things to plug up top. A lot of comments on my hair. It's true. In the Netflix special, looking good hair. And I got to tell you, like, I'm not even reading the ad yet. Modern Mammals is a game changer when it comes to my hair routine. It used to be, if I wanted my hair to look good for something, I would not wash it for at least 2 days, maybe more, 3-4 days. And then at one point, my hairdresser and friend Kat was like, "Your hair is gross. It looks good, but it's gross. You need to clean it." So I was hoping that there would be a non-shampoo shampoo solution that would clean your hair, but not make it look like a bale of hay that just came out of the dryer, unruly, all over the place and brittle. And that's exactly what Modern Mammals is. No lie, no joke. I found it on Instagram. I tried it once. I reached out to them. I was like, "We got to partner up. This stuff is a game changer." It's a non-shampoo shampoo, and over 40,000 guys have switched to this instead of traditional shampoo. You got to see the reviews for this product. They're insane. Guys don't get this excited about anything. It blows my mind. Once you use it, like me, you're hooked for life. There's no other shampoo. You can't go back. And it's a small punk rock grassroots company. These guys were just fed up with shampoo, frying their hair, and set out to create something actually new to help men with their hair to look good, specifically for guys. They have bars for the no plastic and the no fragrance version, and they also have bottles for the more traditional shampoo style. It's like a magic gray mud that you run into your hair, rinse it out, gives you a great feeling, look, gives you that wave, it gives you that body, it doesn't dry it out. It makes your hair clean, but look like you didn't wash it. I mean, that's a miracle. That's a straight up miracle. I also love the fragrance. I love that it makes my hair every single time perfect. 6 seconds a day. Perfect hair. I used it before my special. I use it before everything I'm going to do for the remainder of my days, to get J.R.R. Tolkien about it. modernmammals.com/weird, where you can get a special combo and try both products, the bar and the bottle, for $44. That's modernmammals.com/weird. Support your hair, get that wave, support the show. Really love them. Speaking of Pete Specs that I'm super excited about, First Person is an absolute mind-body game changer. They are helping my life. They're helping Val's life by helping us naturally produce more oxytocin, the feel-good hormone, and dopamine, which is a motivating feel-good hormone. Incredible, incredible stuff. And what is it? When I have to explain First Person to somebody in 5 seconds, I go, it's mushrooms. It's mushrooms that are specifically targeted to dial into your body to boost that good mood feeling, energy, mood, sleep. First Person has got you covered. Golden Hour is the one I started with. Helps me tune into a sense of joy, connection, and relaxed presence. I love taking it in conjunction with Sunbeam, which maximizes productivity and creative activities by tuning in to be an inspired, focused mindset by helping boost the body's natural production, boost that of dopamine. So you're spiking your dopamine, you're peaking your oxytocin. It's incredible to find this natural hack, this biohack. It is incredible. And Moonlight, I take every night to help me stay in sleep deep restorative sleep by helping the GABA neurotransmitter to relax the central nervous system, preparing the brain for body and sleep. They're meant to be stacked, and I stack them, take them together, get that motivating feeling and that well-being feeling. It's 100% grain-free organic mushrooms. They're also in really cool containers, and they look really cool as well. And they're a highly curated blend of neuroceuticals. First Person is a game changer. Start improving your brain health and cognition with First Person. Get 20% off your first order by going to getfirstperson.com and use promo code WEIRD. Support your mind, support the show. First Person, there's no going back. It's amazing. These statements, I have to say, they have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Get into it. Getfirstperson.com and use promo code WEIRD. All right, everybody, enjoy Jonathan Scott. It's awesome. So glad you're here. Please check out the special on Netflix. All right, that's it. Get into it.
Make sure it's on.
Checkity
ring
check
or
check.
loud.
Oh, this. Make sure this is
Make
on.
sure it's
It
on.
is actually on. I'm the worst. So the one thing they have with me on set is constantly my phone will ring and blow a take. Constantly. Like literally every
Why
day.
don't you
And
turn it off?
I don't know why. I
jump
can't
right
figure
to
it
it.
out.
Are
But the
they
other thing
afraid
too
of
is
you?
I
Are
leave
you
my
a tyrant?
I leave my fly down. Half of my show has been shot with my fly hanging open. And they're like, "Why don't you remember?" I'm like, I have this weird thing. When I go to the bathroom
You don't
and you
zip
touch
up.
your junky parts,
Yeah.
I don't like to touch anything else until I wash my hands. So I don't do my fly until I wash my hands.
Wait, you want your fly to be clear of balls?
I don't know why I do
Because
this.
fly is a ball-safe
Yeah.
area.
I would think so.
You can touch balls to
and,
fly.
and also my balls are also clean, but
yeah, money's dirty.
yeah, it is.
How do you wash your hands after you touch money?
I've actually been known to pick my teeth with bills, so and it makes everyone vomit around me. But I'm
You
like,
floss with a crisp 50?
I'm not gonna lie. In my mind, I justify it that the higher the bill, the fewer people have touched it, and so. But yeah, I've had like I don't know how many.
Yeah, the
friends-
one is the trollop.
Do not put
Yeah.
a one anywhere near your mouth.
Can you say trollop? The one is, it's just been all over.
Yeah,
Yeah, One
It's
is
nasty.
it's in
Yeah.
vending machines.
Yeah.
Although that's kind of its car wash. It gets pressed.
Yeah, I guess it's pressed, unlike your shirt. But
Can you tell us the first time I've worn this
I can
shirt?
literally almost smell the cellophane package that you
Yeah.
took out. And
Yeah. But I put it on for you.
I appreciate
It's
it.
hard to be talking to the sexiest man. I think it's the sexiest man alive. The sexiest man alive.
Not quite. It's
Number one sexiest.
One people's one of 50 sexiest men alive.
50
The
though. They knew what they were doing. They kept
No,
that
the
number
thing that's
low.
annoying though is it was a list of 50, yet there were 51 people on the list
'Cause you
because
read
they qualified Drew and me as one human between the two of us.
I think that's just honest.
I
That's
mean,
what we're all doing.
Hey, people would gift at Christmas. They would just give us one gift and expect that we're going to share. So I get Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he gets the other days. I don't know how it's supposed to work.
That is, we've had, I'm friends with the Sklar brothers and twins, and they have some twin laments, and they're all super legitimate. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there's
It's-
all the stuff that you typically would they joke about that people
Yeah.
say to twins. People say to twins all the time, and
Like
it's-
what?
We're like social experiments.
Yeah, yeah,
Someone-
yeah.
If you get hit, does he feel?
Yeah,
so the way
I
to kill
hated
that
it.
conversation.
I hated it, yeah.
Wait, do you
and
have a
you're
twin?
tall. And no, I just hate it on your behalf.
Oh, yeah.
And you're tall, so people are going, all those things.
What's the
as
weather
well.
like? But the greatest way to kill that whole twin shtick that people always say is,
Yeah.
you just go, yeah, it's crazy. When I orgasm, he feels it. And then there's a really awkward silence, and then people move on.
Would all be trying to be twins. if
Get
that
your
was
mind out of
true.
the gutter over there. I don't-
Katie's loving the twin jizz material. Old twin jizz.
Classic Katie material over here.
Yeah, that must be annoying. But it's also like, you know what it is when you see a very, 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 like I was at the airport and I saw a very, very tall person. I mean, he had to be like 9 feet, like for real, like circus level. And we're so fascinated. We're also fascinated with little people. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying it's interesting. It's different. Yeah. Twins are the only outlying group that for some reason, and redheads, it's completely okay to just come up and be like,
And stare.
you have red hair. Are you a leprechaun? Or twins, you can be like,
Where is the end of the rainbow?
yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. So what I've deduced is that people generally are dumb, especially when they're traveling. Airports are the worst. People, they check their brains with their luggage.
Everybody's got to go.
Granted, though, I think the first time we met, I walked up and I did say something tall, like, I guess we should talk to each other.
Because we're tall?
Yeah, and I...
At the Berbiglia thing?
Yeah, and then you, like, shot a look at me like, oh, this fucking guy.
I did not.
No, you didn't.
You're
literally the friendliest guy in the world.
I know, but so are you. Have you ever... Look, I'm not even trying to put you on the spot, but sometimes people go like, yeah, I came up to you and I must have been like exhausted or sick or something, and I was just sort of like, hello, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm
the thing is, these days, people will go direct on social media, and then they'll just troll you because this person's horrible.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a thing where if I'm talking to somebody, I don't like it when somebody obnoxious comes over and interrupts because they want to take a picture. I'm in the middle of a conversation with somebody, especially if you're sitting like in a restaurant in an intimate situation. I don't like when people just bombard your table.
Sex in restaurants?
All the time. Yeah, constant. But usually just like the petting kind of stuff.
Heavy petting.
Heavy petting.
It's hard to do light petting.
At a restaurant.
Light petting leads to heavy.
Unless it's linen service on the tables. If there's like linen service, it's a lot easier. So.
Well, that's just begging for petting. Linen service.
You asked for it, restaurants.
Those are bed sheets for a table.
Exactly.
That's what linen service is.
Duh. But don't blacklight those linens. Anyway, so no, I had one. I was chatting with this lady, and she was like the sweetest woman. She must have been in her early 90s, something like that. And she saw me at the airport, and she was really kind and said she likes the show. And I have the best fans in the world. They're very sweet. And this guy literally all but shoves her out of the way and says, "Hey, whoa, you're the guy on the show. I got to take a picture." And I said to him like, "Oh, I'm just in the middle of a conversation. I'll be a few minutes."
Yeah.
I could tell he was
furious,
absolutely livid.
Yeah.
And then immediately I saw when I boarded my flight, all of a sudden I was getting these notifications. And this guy was on there saying I'm the biggest asshole in the world and blah, blah. I'm like, no, my friend.
Yeah.
You are. But the problem is
yeah.
other fans that read that, then they're like, oh, wow, Jonathan must have been really rude. I'm like, well, that's his side of the story. That's why I don't take for a grain of salt any of the stories I see about people out there because you know what? You're human. You're allowed to be sick. You're allowed to have a bad day.
Right.
You're allowed to not be invaded.
I just had a dream where I screamed at someone, "I'm not allowed to be in a bad mood." That was my dream.
When you're furious in your dream about this
I was
stuff.
yelling at my brother because I was in a bad mood. And I have this belief, not to get too deep right away, but I have this belief that if I'm angry, I must be like the part of my dad that like would frighten me as a child or whatever. He wasn't like a monster or anything, but like that sort of is scary to a kid. So I have this weird relationship with anger and being like aggressive. So when I get that way, I think that the dream meant like.
What is the last time that you actually in real life, not in dream life, but in real life, got mad at something?
It was I got mad at my dad. We had a little conversation, which is funny. Because there it is, the thing that I'm at odds with my anger, and I'm talking to that thing, and we're looking for it. But we never like name call and stuff. We were just watching a short film that my friend made, and they were like, "Fuck you, you fucking child," and like having fights like that. I've never in my life had a fight like that.
Yeah. No.
Never in my life. I've never called my dad a name. I've never called a girlfriend a name. I'm not trying to virtue signal. Some people can. Like, I have to imagine... Like, this sounds weird, but like other cultures, like I'm just very tight and Lithuanian and like I don't even know how to do an impression, but like other more passionate romantic cultures are like, I hope you die. And then like 5 minutes later, they're having sex. That's a stereotype, but I wonder if there's any truth to it.
What was that accent that you just did right there?
It was my attempt at Lithuanian, and I realized I couldn't do it. It kind of came out German.
The other one where you did wish somebody to die. That was...
I hope you die.
Yeah. I have so many friends I grew up with, Italians and Iranians and all these, and they're all about big gatherings and big energy. I'm not like that. Like I'm a pretty private person.
PPP?
What's PPP?
You're triple P.
What's that?
Pretty private person.
I'm a pretty private person. Yeah, that's right.
You can just say PPP. People know what that means.
I like it. But everyone has those moments. And for me, so I was always...
little angry moments?
Yeah, well, you have it. And you have to get that out because if you hold it in all the time... I actually had in previous relationships, my ex-wife, my previous girlfriends, they would say to me like, maybe if you, did show a little emotion that, things would go better.
Oh, really?
Because I in my first two relationships, the entire relationship, 5-year relationships each, never got in a fight. Just didn't happen. We'd get in disagreements, but I was always the what's the word? Like growing up in our family, I was like the mediator. I was the one that
The
would always
peacekeeper.
Yeah, I was the
Which
peacekeeper.
makes my skin crawl a little bit because both my wife and I were the peacekeepers in our families.
Yeah.
And I still am that way. But I wonder where you're going. You think it's better to fight? Maybe it is. Tell me.
Well, it's like, so Zoe, who, for anybody who doesn't know, is my partner, and we just got engaged.
Zoe Kravitz.
Yes. Don't tell.
We have a new scoop.
Yeah. Don't tell Channing. So Deschanel, and
okay.
she is the greatest conflict resolutionist I've ever met in my life, because you have conflict with somebody, you'll have disagreements, but it's what you do in those moments. So like you were saying, some people will shout, I hate you, this,
You're a child.
or, you're a child, or they'll go into something about physical things. You can't come back
Lumbering
from those
ogre
comments.
for us.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
lumbering ogres.
Yeah.
Your fly is always down.
You make Lurch look weird. I'm like, what?
Lurch looks like your after photo. You strive for Lurch.
But, you got to be careful when you say those things. I mean, I do think you have to get things out. 9 out of 10 times, if you say something that's bothering you, the response is better than you thought it would be. So,
But I think you can say it kindly.
yeah, exactly. You don't have to say it like
Is that
a
what
douchebag.
ZD does?
Yeah. Everything that, when we're having our communication, there's never a situation where we're ever nasty.
Yeah.
But there are moments of blurted out truth. And, I think the one thing that
But
is
you
really
feel
important,
safe. That's really nice.
You do.
I'm
'cause
very
you,
happy
you
for
talk
you.
about these things. Yeah.
Sorry, tell me.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's nice. I feel like you have the same.
I do.
Beliefs about that.
I
stuff.
do. Very strong. I think you should feel safe in your relationship. And I think not enough people are looking for a safe place, person wherein you can make mistakes or I like what you said, you can blurt out a truth. Sometimes I say to Val, I'm just like, this isn't the entirety of how I feel.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you what my pain is saying. My pain says this. You know what I mean? But dissociating from it a little bit. But I'll give you an example. We had a bunch of people over for dinner last night. Next time you're in town.
I was gonna say, I don't remember getting that
Next
invite.
time you're in town. Are you up there?
What's that?
Do you not disclose where you live?
We're in Brentwood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're in
Oh,
Ojai.
you were in
I
Home,
didn't
yeah,
know
yeah.
if you were up in Ojai full time or something.
Yeah, we're up there.
Next time you're in town. Okay. So
You
anyway,
realize we could do that foot
next
touch from
time
across the
you're-
room. It's so
we
weird.
could. We're not even in the frame until two legs just come in and high five.
But the Baywatch song has to be playing.
Some people stand. I can't believe you referenced one of my favorite songs of all time.
You're
I
welcome.
sing it for fun. It's a great song.
As you
Standalone.
should.
So last night at dinner, I had just been on the road. I was in Salt Lake City this past weekend. It's my first day back. I'm giving Val some context. So she had been alone with the baby for a couple days, a 5-year-old, but you know what I mean, baby. So understandably, Val was a little under the pressure cooker, and she just made this dinner. It was her idea. She said this. We talked about it later. She was like, I know the dinner was my idea, but I'm still feeling pressure that I made this dinner. And then the dog was barking, and we all know the dog is for Valerie. I know you love your dogs. But I'm the one that's like the also ran with the dog. I love the dog, but it's sort of like, anyway. He's out somewhere barking, which is annoying me, and I'm like, where's Brody? And Val just goes, well, maybe you could go and look for him because I just sat down. Like, I can't even do the tone, but there was a tone. Oh, yeah. There was like a sarcasm. And I would say this, Val will listen to this. I'm just saying this isn't shit talk. There was kind of like a, well, I know you've been sitting and enjoying your meal.
I'm going to side with Val on this one.
I'm with you. That's why I gave you her context.
Yeah.
I'm proud that I gave you her context. I could have been like, and she used a tone. I'm telling you, I just got back in town. I understand that. But I'm also a sensitive, for all my confidence, there's all this sensitivity. And the way that the fight went was I was like, you can just say that to me. Like, you can just say what you're feeling. You don't have to imply it.
It
you
is
know what I mean?
exactly what I say when that happens.
Is that real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You just go like,
we could
I'm
be the same
safe.
person.
You can say, I'm frustrated. I've been alone. You can just say like, it's a little annoying. You can say, but don't use comedy on me.
No.
I don't like it because we're both fluent in it. And I'm like, I know what you're up to. You're frustrated with me. Just say, or you know what my favorite is, and I'm gonna throw this all back to you. My favorite is just like, baby love, I just sat down. Just a little. And Val's a genius at that. 99.99999% of the time, she does that. That's all we need is just a little like, my love, I just sat down. Would you mind getting him? That's all I need. But if you cloak it then I go like, why are you cloaking it? I'm your home. I'm your safe home.
Yeah.
And I don't need renovating, so stay the fuck away. Go on. What does that make you think?
This bitch is renovated.
I've
good to
been
go.
renovated.
Yeah.
We already have white brick around the fireplace.
So this is my problem is I'm not a hyper emotional person. I'm the easiest going, like I have no problem running out, doing this and, getting up and everything. What I don't like is the tone. And so I get
Tones are killers, man.
This is what I get. And so, and my response is also not very grown up. So that I see the fault in how I communicate this, but it'll be something where I don't know what it would be, but it would be like, hey, did we put that bowl somewhere in the pantry? Like, or whatever it is. And if the response is like, I don't know I don't know where the bowl is. I'm like, don't treat me like I'm an idiot.
Right.
It's a legitimate question. I don't know
And
where
by the way,
said
just
bowl is.
because you don't say, hey, idiot, you can say it with tone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's really what the issue was, is like, if you're frustrated, and look, we could all strive to be this way all the time. We can't. So Val is totally innocent in this situation. What happened, though, is my feelings got hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked. I'm not hyper emotional. I don't know if that's true, but I am hypersensitive for sure. Especially after a weekend of doing stand-up. You'd think I'd come home and be like, I am invincible. But you're actually drained. We just watched Phantom Thread. After he has like his shows and stuff, he's just in bed the next day.
Yeah.
He just feels so vulnerable. That's how I feel. So the
Because
tone,
you're human.
and I'm human, but especially in social situations, Val and I, the tension that we've had in our relationship has almost always been, if we're out and I feel like she's paying attention to everyone except me. And that's vulnerable to say, but that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because Val is such a good reflector and connector that if the three of us were having dinner, there's a risk. We'd talk about it on the ride over.
Yeah.
We'd go like, just make sure you check in with me, because all I need is every once in a while, like Pete's always saying, or Pete and I talk about this, just something. Because if I just sit there and I just start feeling like an island to you guys' continent, I'll be like, I'm vanishing. I hate this. And then you know what I'll do? All the regular ego stuff. I'll brag. Like, I'll be like, yeah, I renovated a house once, like classic fucking 80s movie, like villain, not total asshole stuff, but I'd be like, I'd say something inappropriate, like, hey, you're tall, you got a big old ding dong, just like to try and get in the mix. But this is helpful to remember.
So
assholes are often just looking for a little bit of love, like they're hurting.
Yeah.
It's not a pass, but like, what's the motivation? What do you got?
Well, I'm the same. Like we approach conversation a little bit different, and so we had a dinner party. So
you and Z.
Yeah. Well, you and I are literally the same human being.
It's
apparently.
very funny.
It's quite funny.
At a certain height, they're just all the same.
But so we had a dinner party night before last. Don't worry, I also didn't invite you. And
look,
but next
you live
time-
in Brentwood.
So she had this really heartfelt speech that she was making because she was so thankful for the people who had come and everybody. And actually, most of the people were brand new. We'd never met them. We put it out to some friends to bring people who we think would be interesting in this community, and we'll make introductions. And so it was like, 24 people, and it was pretty nice. But
so you wanted to make new friends. That's fun.
Yeah, and but also let these people make new friends and create community. And so she's making a heartfelt speech, and at one point I cracked a joke, and everybody roared laughing and thought it was really funny. And it was just something stupid. Like she said, we wanted to bring in some really incredible people who we thought would get along and make new connections. And then I said they weren't available, so we chose you guys. And
classic.
Everyone roared. Yeah, it's classic.
No,
right.
but it's well done.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. It's a classic kind of style, but I like the wording very much.
They
weren't available.
I didn't think of the fact that Zoe felt that undermined her really beautiful speech that she was making. And that's the problem that I have.
Out of 10, how heartfelt was it? Was it like,
she was really...
This matters to me. This is
special. It does, because it was also like...
Was she mentioning the world is so lonely and frightening?
There was no soliloquy, but...
Did she have a ukulele? Tell me.
Always has a ukulele. But I think that's the problem I have is so the two things is, well, one, I believe everyone takes everything too seriously. So I generally don't take anything too seriously.
Yeah.
But there are moments where jokes they're not needed. Even though I don't think the audience cared, I don't think the guests cared. They didn't see a difference. But that's my weakness is I constantly crack a joke or I constantly say something when sometimes it's nice to have a pure, tender moment and not feel like you got a joke. But
you couldn't be talking to someone who understands both sides of this issue more. And I wouldn't even be like, if I say that you in that moment wanted to share, when you say attention, it sounds like a bad thing. But you guys were hosting. This is just your side. We'll do Zoe's side as well. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. This isn't a one-sided thing.
No.
I'm saying I couldn't relate more, and the joke worked. You know what I mean?
If it fell flat, which it hasn't, there have been, like you said,
that's
a minute
the
ago.
risk.
So here's the thing:
that's the risk.
I am known. Half of what I say on Property Brothers could never air because we just joke around. We have a good time. I've got, I may swear every now and then.
Sure.
And so
you're talking about your balls touching your zipper.
Totally. Like, we're just like, but all in fun. Like, there's never anything negative on the set. But there have been moments where I hate this when you have a new conversation with somebody new that you just meet, and it's always like this very buttoned up, safe conversation.
I
I'm
understand.
like, to hell with that. I act like I've met this person 1,000 times and I know them very well. And so sometimes I'll say something that is like out of left field.
Yeah.
And Zoe is like a very, very funny but proper person. And
we can even make that a compliment. She's classy.
She's extremely
she's
classy
and classic.
Classy.
Yeah, if
that actually is a great description.
Yeah, classy
Zoe.
and classic. Because there was a time when it was the three of us, and I was just kind of like enjoying how classic she was. But it did disrupt you and I. We started behaving better.
We're 13-year-olds in giant bodies with adult bank accounts.
We're
so
Shazam,
it's like
basically. We're the movie Shazam.
Exactly.
2 Shazams are talking.
But, there's a time and a place for everything. But yeah, anyway, so that's
she's classy.
There's always this dynamic where, I encourage and I support her in everything that she does, and I love who she is and how she is, and she supports and loves me. It doesn't mean that sometimes we don't have those cringy moments where, ooh, I really read this room wrong, or But
how did she? And I'm setting her up for success because I feel like it was in a great way. Meaning, I'm not looking for dirt. How did she say, "Hey, I didn't like that joke"? And how did you discuss it?
Well, we'll usually just have that conversation. So if there's ever something where,
when did you have it?
Usually right after. Like I don't like having those conversations
Me too.
in the moment.
Val used the tone, and I was like, "Hey." Like immediately, and guess what? Just to give you the finale, we were fine, and then like 10 minutes later, I'm like washing a dish or something, and she gives me a rim job.
But that's like cleaning. You mean?
Oh, I didn't mean rim job. I meant she licked my asshole. Oh, that's a rim. That is a rim. I got it right. I got it right. I got it right.
All right.
No, she came up and hugged me very sweetly from behind, and I wasn't like. That wasn't the period on the sentence. The conversation was over, but it was just this tenderness, and now we're kissing, and it's so nice. It's not trauma bonding. It's not like let's play this game of cat and mouse. It was just like, yeah, it's okay. I'm your home.
Because
you
want to know something I don't like? I don't like makeup sex. When people always talk about the makeup sex, I'm like, no, that's not.
You mean Stockholm syndrome?
I don't know.
It's basically Stockholm syndrome.
It's like you're not.
It's like I hate you.
You're not in the right state. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like because I take a little time. Like when I do boil, it takes and there's very little that will set me up. But when I do boil, like I need a little time to simmer back down.
Yeah.
But
I don't need to be making love in that way.
And but angry masturbating is no problem.
Furious
like
masturbating is the only masturbating.
It's dangerous.
I'll read the news and then I'll masturbate just to be like, the world is so sad. And I'm like, I'm mad about everything, and then I'll.
But I will say the challenge for me, which and Zoe again will be honest about bringing this up, is I don't like to burden people with things, and so I just let things slide and slide and slide, and then eventually, and when I bring it up, well then Zoe will say, well. Why wouldn't you bring that up in the moment if it was something that's happening? And she's right. Yeah. Because I don't want to bother her. I don't want to bother someone. So I just let it slide. It's not like I'm like, keeping a list of these things that one day will come out. To me, it doesn't occupy my brain the same way I think somebody who holds on to a lot of these things do. I remember these things, but it's not like eating away at me.
Yeah. It's not super practical too. It sounds very masculine what you're doing. It's going like, this isn't really useful. This leads to a bad conversation or a weird feeling. let's just put it aside.
Yeah.
And that kind of does speak to your work. It's like you break things down and you build them up. It's very practical. And that's I think that's part of what makes you a sex symbol guy is you're like, sorry. Oh, I didn't know what we were doing.
I was doing the Sharon Stone thing right now.
But like, we love that decisiveness. Let's go in and fix it. And I don't know what to do with this feeling. It's not of use. It's not a good tool for what I'm going for, which in the moment is a good day. So I'm going to throw it aside, just like I would like bad wallpaper, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think what Zoe would say, and certainly, meaning Zoe seems to be representing what Valerie in my life represents, is there is something potentially inside you that is keeping score. We could call it your unconscious.
100%.
We could call it somewhere in your body.
Yeah.
And that shit is real.
Yeah, and it's not healthy. It's like the people who I even remember, I was so upset and hurt when I broke up with an ex a long time ago, and I remember that I'm very easy to forgive. I never forget, and I know where I put
you
people.
were easy to forgive.
Yeah,
people love forgiving me.
I'm
Your flies down.
Yeah.
Forgive me. I'm so
guys,
easy.
Don't worry, guys.
You forgive quickly.
I forgive quickly. So because I don't want that eating away at me, I remember my family, my friends, they were so mad at this person and ongoing, and they would make comments. I'm like, it didn't even happen to them. I'm like, but when you hold that kind of resentment, you can't help but have it bring something negative into you, and it eats away at you. I'm very good at letting those things go. I don't. Like, it's not like I will ever, then I'll make back up with this person and we'll be best friends. Never going to happen. Like, I remember what happened.
Yeah.
But I don't let it control me.
Yeah. But you're making sure you're actually forgiving, not just in denial.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know that story, the two monks? There's these two monks. It's a short story. It's almost over. And the monks were in an order where they weren't allowed to touch women. It was in all male monasteries, often monasteries are. But they're Buddhist. And they're walking across a river, and there's a woman who can't cross the river. And she's asking for help to cross the river. And the first monk, who vowed not to touch women, ignores her. And the second monk, the older monk, picks her up on his back and crosses the river so she doesn't get wet. You can build in your own reason why she couldn't get wet. And he puts her down. 20, 30, 40 minutes later, an hour later, they're walking. And the younger monk says to the older monk, he goes, we took a vow to not touch women. Why did you pick up that woman? What are you doing? And the older monk said, are you still carrying her? I put her down an hour ago.
Yeah.
Isn't that good?
That's great.
Isn't that a good
That's
story?
exactly it.
Isn't that it?
I think it kind of all comes back again to how we let anything affect us. And most people carry around so much baggage, guilt for things that have happened in the past. There's nothing you can do about trying to work. That's why I think therapy is great. I think when people go and they talk about these things in a healthy environment, it's so important because a lot of times your buddies or your girlfriends, they're not actually helping you when they're just like they're telling you what you want to hear.
That's right. They yes and it. They go, it's what did you think you were going to say? It's like that's not really helpful.
No, it's not.
My therapist, as I've told many people, would just go, who cares? That's what he said about almost everything. And it was so helpful. I had a drug experience, a psychedelic experience where I was like, and this is true right here and now. I was like,
you're high right now?
I'm high on drugs. I'm high on.
How many of me are there right now?
Which one of you said that? No, but it was like, we are the ones that create the past by we drag it.
Yeah.
And it is like dragging Santa's bag, but it's not filled with toys, it's filled with bullshit. And you drag it in. And again, I hear Val's voice saying like, we can have compassion. This is your protector. So your protector, which is an aspect of your ego, you could say, is like going like, well, Jonathan got hurt by someone with these qualities.
Yeah.
Right? You mentioned a breakup. So maybe you did file away, like look out for this type of treatment.
Yeah.
It might be indicative of this kind of person. We don't know, but it's like an internal government. And your elected president is like, we will not be fooled again by a woman that wears slap bracelets. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing the best they can. Sometimes that's all they have. Yeah. Slap bracelets mean narcissistic personality disorder, vote for me. And you're the one that votes. Are we going to keep this legislation? Anyway, this metaphor goes on and on and on. So, but what I'm saying is that there's a reason for it, and we can even love the fact that our brain is trying to hold on to grudges to a certain extent, to a helpful extent.
And when it comes to relationships, that's why, Zoe and I didn't find each other until our 40s. And it was funny because, you know,
What
you
if you
think,
went late 40s?
yeah.
And then you look in the camera. Barely.
I've had work done. Everybody knows. No,
You do work and you've had
We were
work.
talking about how, you know, we were both married before and, you know, had many relationships and whatnot. And the problem is when you're younger, you don't know what you want in a relationship. And, you know, I had relationships where I was like, is this normal? Are we supposed to be like this? And I'm feeling isolated. I don't feel listened to.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then
Which, by the way, I think are echoes of past patterns. Like when you're in a weird relationship, I think you might have been attracted to it. Not you, I'll say me, because it's the type of abuse you're used to.
which is totally true.
You're just
know?
like, oh, this is familiar.
Yeah.
Like, they
How
make
many
me
people did you
feel-
know that used to constantly date horrible men or horrible women? And like,
Yeah.
it's true. You see this pattern, but I think you learn. And so I got to a point where I finally decided, I'm like, I'm not going to put up with that bullshit. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect, but I'm not going to put up with these baseline things that
deal breakers.
And they're really not like anything other than personality. Like if somebody doesn't respect you enough to understand that you have emotions, you have a right to feel a certain way. If somebody doesn't understand, they're either a narcissist and they don't give a shit,
Right.
Or they're so inexperienced in love and emotion that I'm too mature for that and I don't want to be with somebody like that.
Right. And it's not mean.
No, it's not mean.
See,
it's
like
just being honest.
defending or what I'm hearing actually when you make statements like that is just like self-love work. And that doesn't mean narcissism. That just means like, I think what's so important that you're touching on is it's us that goes, you know what? It's like the president. What's it called? New government. I'm gonna have a new government.
Okay.
And this government is running on a campaign that I'm worthy of respect, safety, spaciousness, curiosity, humor, but like really, safety covers so much of it. Like somebody where I can feel safe. Still excited and interested, but like a lot of us are going for someone like I've been cut here. Like I kept getting cut here. Would you cut me there?
Yeah.
And you make these weird sort of agreements, and it takes a moment where you do it. No one else. I know this sounds like a fucking inspirational talk. I'm just saying like. It was an epiphany for me to realize that it's me that decides. You could say, you deserve the life you want.
Yeah.
You deserve the partner you want. People can say that, but until you go like, no, I do. And it's like I was saying about dragging the past.
Yeah.
Alan Watts says we're under no obligation to be the person we were 5 minutes ago. Well, I'm not it doesn't work out for me. It's like, there are other people. I don't know. I'm happy that you got out of the things that you got out of.
I think, you know,
what they taught you.
You analyze it, even from the dating. I mean, remember, it got to a point where things were so crazy as well. And also there were, because as soon as you get physical with a partner, it also changes the relationship too. So I dated a lot of people and I never would let it get there because I didn't trust that it was going to be a safe place to get there.
Sexual?
Yeah, sexually. Like once that you do that, change that in a dynamic. So
That's really interesting. I'm usually the first person to say it's like glue.
Yeah.
As soon as you start getting in the bone zone, like it can be.
I was not a first. What do you call it? Like one night stand type of person. I was never like that. But even in that, I would go out, and if there's any inkling, I remember I was out with this one person, and I'd known her socially through other people and whatnot. And anyway, we went out for dinner, and she spent the entire dinner making fun of the strangers in the restaurant, literally like their physical attributes, the way they were talking, and I was so confused. I'm like, is the conversation that dull that you want to make fun of this elderly couple that's over here? It was really weird. No. So at the end of the date, I remember I said to her, I'm like, and you know, Zoe and I are both the same in the fact that we're very straightforward and that can offend people. But I said to this woman, I said, I don't think this is a match. I don't think we should do this again. You know, thank you for dinner, but I think this is the last time. And she lost it on me. She threw a drink at me, called me an asshole in the middle of the restaurant. I don't like it when people are looking at me, and I don't like when every eye in the restaurant came and turned and whatever. And, you know, I ended it because I think she wanted to continue to another bar and have drinks and everything, and I was like, that's the end of the date. And, you know, it was horrible. Like, she made a whole scene. And
what kind of drink was it?
It was wine. Yeah.
Red wine?
Yeah, white wine.
White wine, thank
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually gets stains out.
none of my wardrobe is expensive, so I'm totally fine with that.
I can't believe it. So you didn't see that coming at all. You were like, "Hey, I just want to
No,
be
I didn't.
upfront."
I didn't see it coming, but that for me, it was like I'm analyzing things early on, and I was like, it got to a point where I'm like, yeah, nope, this is definitely a no-go. It's never happening again.
That's like, look, and I believe you did it compassionately. That is the most caring thing you can do. So much of us are tied up and locked up, and it's like, well, we did this. I think they want to go to this bar, and you'll lead them on. You'll even maybe sleep with them because you're like, I think that's what they're expecting. When you can really just be real and be like, let's not postpone.
No, well, actually, you know
feeling.
what's interesting is so a friend of mine who I've known for many, many years, and she's always said to me, she's like that little person that sits on your shoulder and gives you advice and whatever. And
Yeah.
I remember I was dating somebody, and I was very clear because I'd gotten out of a long relationship. I was not interested in, or I actually didn't even date for about 6 months after my when I was married before.
Yeah.
When I split from that, but I went out. I was
That was
dating.
almost exactly as long as I waited to.
Yeah, and it's like
divorce.
got to a point where because I held a lot of resentment toward women in relationships because of what had happened from that relationship and my previous.
Was there
and
a
then,
headline to that? Was it infidelity or anything like that?
nothing.
This isn't a gossip podcast. My wife
yeah.
cheated on me. I was looking for common ground, not
Yeah,
a
it's
scoop.
it's not. It's more just I realized that it's a problem I had with the person, and it happens to be that I had been with a couple of people that did not jive with me very well at all. But finally, when I started dating again, I was very clear, and I said, I'm not looking for anything serious. It's nice to have company. It's nice to go and do things, see shows, and do whatever you can do. And I remember I said to my friend, I'm like, well, I know that this person is trying to lock me down, and they said, oh yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Nothing serious. It's fine. And I said, I know that they want to change me. They want to change my mind, and that's their goal. And she said, well, then don't you think you're really leading them on? And I said, no, I am literally saying to her face, I said, I'm not interested in any relationship. I just want company so we can go and do shows and everything. And she's like, yeah, but in the back of your mind that she wants it otherwise. And I said, but why is that on me? I'm the one who's being honest and forward. She's the one who's trying to change me. Yeah. And it's an interesting dynamic. And depending on who you talk to, everyone is on one side or the other. So I finally got to a point where I didn't want to play any of those games. If I sniffed out that somebody wasn't being truthful, there was no second date.
I think that's really interesting. I also agree with your little friend, your shoulder friend, because it's not fair. But if I build a cube and it's filling slowly with water and you get in it and I say, if you stay in here too long, you'll drown. But I have to trust you'll get out before you drown, and then it looks like they're going to drown. It's still my cube and my water.
Yeah.
My inability to commit is still the water that's going to hurt them. So even if they're lying, and I understand why they're not being fully honest, because how many relationships do start with like, we dated, they didn't want to be serious. Or we dated and we thought it was just this and it turned into this. Or we thought we were friends. Yeah. And isn't that sort of the superpower, not just of women, but anybody with like feminine intuition that can go, I actually think I know what you need better than
the
what
nurturing
you think
element of it.
Nurturing.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know, I can't really speak to that with Val and I, but like there was certainly, Val and I were into each other very quickly. It went at the same pace. But I would have understood if I was like, and I don't know about this, I think she would have been like, all right, fine. But she would have known.
Well, and it's funny because you go through different periods in your life. I was single for a very long time, and I've been burned by people, and I've been in relationships too, and they're absolutely wonderful people, and there just wasn't the spark that I was looking for.
Yeah.
And but what's so funny is, so I'd been single for a long time before meeting Zoe, and then
Zoe Barnes
yes,
from House of Cards?
Yeah.
She's dead.
What?
Yeah, the president pushed her in front of a subway. Oh my God. Yeah, Zoe Barnes is dead. She's also fictional. So it's double bad. She never existed, and she doesn't exist in the way she didn't exist in the first place.
Well, I date a lot of fictional people.
Yeah.
And it's real hot.
It's the way to keep it safe.
No, it's now I totally forgot what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's good hosting right there.
Yeah, the greatest.
I'm going to win a Peabody Award.
Yeah.
And we'll find it. We're talking about being honest, the cube,
when we met,
water, when you met.
So I had been single for quite a while, and my publicist convinced me to do this article for People magazine about being ready for love because I was ready for love, but I'm like, I don't
I've
necessarily
never
need
talked to somebody that was that story, and it says Jonathan Scott.
I'm going to show you
Quote,
this.
I'm ready for love.
I'm not joking. Hold on. Isn't it embarrassing when you can Google something
your
faster
wallpaper?
about yourself than you can pull up on your own phone?
My daughter and I were making a collage.
Jonathan Scott, People Magazine, white horse.
You're on a white horse?
On the beach, on a white horse, in a sunset, ready for love. It's so embarrassing. And so they're like,
So did you do multiple setup?
I'm not joking. So this is had Zoe seen that article about me, she would never have dated me. I guarantee you, because it was really cheap.
Tell me
met
when you
3 months,
got.
We met 3 months after that came out.
It takes 3 months to live this down. I mean,
I'm still living it down. I'm on a horse in Mexico on the beach, a white horse, and this horse is tired looking.
yeah,
And
that horse is, and you look like you're about to
I
attend a
look
Tony Robbins
magnificent.
seminar. You
So-
do look magnificent. But
anyway, that's what I was saying. Is like,
tell me, were you worried that would be the cover?
well, so my whole thing was, I get it. I get sometimes why publicists have different, things they want to do, and sometimes I'm a little too susceptible, like a little too accommodating for some things. But anyway, it didn't affect Zoe and me. When we met, we actually met on carpool karaoke. It was Zoe and her sister Emily. It was Drew and me, and it was sisters and the brothers, and we had a blast. And Zoe,
James.
What's that?
James Corden?
Yeah, it was the show on Apple that he had done.
Oh, it was the show, so he wasn't there.
No, exactly.
What was your song?
We did a whole series of songs, everything from Proclaimers, 500 Miles, so Linda Ronstadt, we had so many
Wow.
songs. We actually went back, so they had Zoe and me, just the two of us, go back and do a kind of Where Are They Now
Before
episode.
you were dating?
And we won an Emmy for it. No, we started dating him almost immediately.
Wait, your relationship won an Emmy?
Pretty much, yes.
I mean,
Not the first
when
one.
you
They're
get
like, we don't know
married-
about this relationship, but the second one did.
when you get married, will the Emmy officiate?
I think that's how it works. I think you don't have to pay.
It cuts to the crowd. It's just
Yeah.
Golden Globes on one side and Oscars on the other.
Well, we don't give each other vows. We give each other Emmys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And SAG residuals.
Yeah, exactly. I think so.
I
don't know how it
understand
works.
Jonathan has written his own SAG residuals.
I'm really bad with all the technicalities of it. I am planning a wedding right now. Zoe and I are planning our wedding, and
Yeah.
we're so we've been there before. We're like, you know what? We just want to have a kick-ass party
Second wedding's the best.
with the people we really care about.
Hello, I'm talking to Second Wedding. Second wedding is the only good. It's the only good wedding. What do you think you're going to enjoy your first wedding?
Ridiculous.
Get the fuck out of here. That's like losing your virginity.
Yeah.
Second wedding is like, all right, I know a couple moves, and they're all just. I want people to have a fun time. Can I give you one piece of
Yes.
unsolicited advice that Val really nailed for our wedding?
Absolutely.
You just want your wedding to look like your love. And if you think about you're inviting people into your, this sounds like something someone would say on your show, but like what it feels like, meaning not fancy or sparkling. I just mean
sloppy and
is it warm?
sweaty.
Is it sloppy? Is it sweaty? Is there a ukulele on every seat? No, our wedding was very folksy. It was kind of bluegrassy. It was outside. Everybody had to pick up their chairs from the ceremony and take it over to the table.
Yeah.
Wine barrels. It was in a vineyard and a big tree and twinkle lights. Very not super fancy. It wasn't like that, but it was warm. And it sort of had a fantastic Mr. Fox kind of flavor because that movie meant a lot, just in that vibe, that Wes Anderson kind of feeling. Anyway, so when people come to the wedding and they're celebrating and bearing witness to you guys and enjoying it, if it feels like this little ecosystem of you guys.
Yeah.
And then it's not like planning a party. It's more like, what do we look like?
Yeah.
What do we look like as a couple?
I love that because the one thing that Zoe and I have bonded over is we both love to entertain. And this is my one humble brag that I'm allowed. We throw the best parties. We throw amazing dinner parties. We love doing it.
Yeah.
She's very creative and when we do it all ourselves. She does tablescapes and I handle the entertainment stuff. And but for the wedding, I agree with you. It doesn't have to be the fanciest thing.
No.
It doesn't have to be anything. I also don't
Unless
subscribe.
that's what you look like. If you look like white
Yeah.
marble in an indoor waterfall, then go for it.
Golden toilets and
Yeah.
Calcutta.
But what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say I don't subscribe to allowing the people around you to also dictate what you have to do at your wedding.
This fucking ain't right. Second wedding.
Yeah, if somebody, I have family that I've never met. I've got distant cousins. I'm like, I'm literally, if I haven't had dinner or a sleepover with you in the last year.
Yeah. Let me say it for you. Bye.
Bye.
It's fucking bye.
We want to keep it simple.
Can I tell you the healing? My first wedding was all fucking this and this fucking, I don't want to say any titles, what family members they were. They all came to the first one. From my first wedding, I don't look at these pictures obviously, but like, I know there are pictures of just miserable Lithuanians. Like, it looks like it should be in black and white. Hello. Why the fuck are you at my wedding? Yeah. I'll tell you why. We were hoping you'd give us some cash, and you didn't, because we were 22 and broke. But anyway, that's not even true. You were there because my parents said that's the done thing, Yeah. And now our second wedding, the healing, and it goes back to what you were saying about relationships. When you realize that that's all nonsense, I have to invite who my parents say, or I have to date someone that hurts me. It's the same yes mechanism that goes like that. It's like my drug experience. We don't have to drag that aspect of the past into this. This is a fresh moment with arrows in every direction. You can go in any direction. And they say, well, you have to invite so-and-so. And you're like, Roberta, your friend from church, will not be at the wedding. You know what I mean? Like, feels fucking great.
Yeah.
Only A-list, baby.
Yeah, exactly. But also, it's not on me to worry about someone else feeling like their feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
Because they weren't invited. And that's
not
the
a
thing
box of water, by the way. That is not on you.
No, it's not. But also, like, sometimes you'll have pressure from family members, like, no, you have to do this. I'm like, no, I really don't, because I could also elope and not do the wedding at all. But we want to spend time with friends and family and whatnot. And I do remember there are certain, like, from my first wedding, the one thing that it should have been a red flag for me, and I kind of like glossed over and everything. But I'm Scottish. Proud of my Scottish heritage.
You wanted to wear a kilt, and she said
I did
no.
wear a kilt.
Okay.
The wedding. We had this beautiful outdoor setting. Friends let us use their place on a lake. It was gorgeous. She forbid me from having bagpipes play at any point during the wedding. We were literally out on a lake in the perfect setting. I get that it's too loud in a church or something, but we were out on a lake. The first setting, I'm all in kilts.
Was it a foggy lake? Because if it's a foggy lake,
there was a castle. No. It was, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, and so, Zoe and I have talked about the stuff that we want to do. And speaking of castle, I proposed at Edinburgh Castle.
You did not?
Yeah, I had a whole thing. I had a pipe band set up. It was we cleared the castle. We were the only people there.
Like a bagpipe.
Yeah.
See, that's healing. That's the punchline to that story. First wedding, no bagpipes.
Yeah.
Second engagement, bring in the bagpipes.
Yeah. She literally knows the things that are important to me, the things that have hurt me. I've had other relationships too where the person ended up doing the same thing that hurt me in a previous relationship, and they knew that was what happened in a previous, and they still did it.
Right.
And so that's what I think is so incredible when you find somebody who knows your sensitivities, who knows what has hurt you, and they vow to never do that.
No, that's exactly right. My first wife, like I said, it was infidelity, and she left me. And as much as I've been therapized and healed, and it's been a long time, all of those things, Val knows she just has to tell me I'm not going to leave you. She just has to say it.
Yeah.
Like, because there's like a little wounded 28-year-old still in me somewhere, and she just goes, baby, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to leave you. And I'm just like, that's my bagpipes.
Yeah.
I know that sounds silly, but like,
no, that's exactly
when you find the healing element.
Yeah. And it is something to be said for it being verbalized. Because
fucking A, right.
People will think it, but they don't say it. I'm like, you realize, like when you're saying when you're at a party, it is important for those little gestures to show that you're thinking of the other person you care. You haven't
just a foot under the table.
Yeah.
That's all I need. I am not a glutton I am a glutton for attention in my work, but in my regular life, because Val and I talked about this, if she just touches my hand, or if I touch her hand and she holds it, it's funny how quickly we can
just a thumb,
unravel if we don't do
the scrotum.
Just a thumb right to the taint.
Yeah.
You push up and you go, it's the male.
She still loves me.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping me from saying male G-spot.
Yeah.
And then I brought it up anyway. What's interesting is that Zooey Deschanel is a theme for a wedding. Like, I guarantee people have said to wedding planners, make my wedding look like it's Zooey Deschanel's wedding because she has and I mean all of this as a compliment. I don't mean it as like a phony like brand, but I mean she has a look. She has an aesthetic.
Oh, she has
a
the
sound.
most stylish person.
It's because she's a musician.
Yeah.
So if you listen to She and Him or her Christmas albums or what all that stuff, and you go make it look like that,
Yeah.
I can already see it.
I can already see the slogan, new guy and girl. That's
New
the wedding
guy,
slang.
New guy and girl. Wait, no, she and him and him.
She and him.
She
Yes.
and them.
She and them. Both of them.
And it's you and your brother?
Yeah. Wait a sec. No, it's true. It actually was pretty incredible because she has, even when we were designing our house, we were renovating for 3 years on our home to get done.
Like the Winchester house. You
Yeah,
know that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I still want to go. They've invited
The
me to go
staircase to
there.
nowhere?
Yeah, exactly. But no, they. I've never trusted anybody else to design anything within the walls of the home I live in, and I discovered that Zoe has incredible taste, and so she picked a lot of the wallpapers and the fixtures and hardware and stuff like that, and then I could focus on the architectural and the construction side. But it was great. We have a very symbiotic relationship that way where we lean on each other. Even when we're obsessed with escape rooms. We do escape rooms all the time, just the two of us.
Wow.
And I'm very fast. I'm very, very quick. I've done hundreds of them all over the world, and I love it.
You
But
ever skip steps? You're like, I
miss
bet the
things.
key's in there, and I bet it's over there, but I bet it just says it's behind the clock.
Yeah. I literally will do it. But you're not always right. And so Zoe's she's slow but meticulous, and she'll go through and she'll pick up all the things that I missed, and it ends up being this perfect relationship where we respect each other's weaknesses, but we also support each other's strengths. And
You might want to work that into your vows because that just made me a little emotional. Because a relationship is like an escape room, and you want a good partner in your escape room. No, I don't mean it like that. I mean like
I'm literally thinking in my mind because I haven't written my vows yet.
you
I'm like,
want to
that's-
have a partner that is bringing something else that was missing. So if I'm in an escape room, it's exactly how Val and I are, not to compliment us again, but I'm just like, I love our love. And I am this. And I sort of am like, I'm high processing, I'm fast, I'm this, I'm heady, I'm top down, she's bottom up. And she brings me into my body and she brings in all this like wisdom. She's the one that goes like, you need to slow down. She's the one that says like, I don't think you need to do that. You're missing this and this. And so she's literally like waking me up to life.
Yeah.
And then and I would say this if she was here again, it's like I'm making her feel safe. I know that's very heteronormative or whatever it is, but like I'm protecting her and providing for her so she can blossom. But it's just so and I'm not even talking necessarily about financials. I'm just saying like, I got you. I believe in you. I say it to her all the time.
Yeah,
I believe
you
in
have to be able to do that for each other.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. I've been in relationships where I was the only one constantly supporting and engaging and doing all of these things to show support, and it wasn't reciprocated.
Yeah.
And you eventually, it chips away at you to the point where your emotional foundation is rocky.
Yeah.
And
I'm a say it person too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to
And it's
say
simple.
these things.
It's
and
not-
you know what? That thing is so funny is I'm not a gift person. I don't like gifts.
I don't like
at
gifts
all.
either.
Yeah. I find it, I don't even know what to say sometimes when people get, because I don't like gifts. I have the things that I need, but if someone makes like a creative,
Like a
thing,
creative
like a
thing is
card
great.
or
Val will write me a poem.
yeah. But what I was thinking is some people, they feel like the only way to show gifts.
Yeah.
The value of a written note or a poem or even just some kind words in an unexpected moment,
Yeah.
worth way more
I agree.
than maybe not a brand new Lamborghini, but
A Lambo.
I'd rather have the Lambo, baby.
But
no,
no.
honestly, no. If somebody gave me a Lamborghini, I would get rid of it immediately. But if somebody said like,
the new electric one looks like the Batmobile, by the way.
does it really?
Yeah.
Which one? Which Batmobile?
The big sexy
Tim
curves,
Burton?
the long body frame on it.
Oh.
It looks. That's
You
what
mean
it looks-
Tim Burton Batman?
Yeah.
Like 86?
Yeah.
Or whatever that was, 89?
A little more straight edge there, but anyway, I just thought that would be appropriate, seeing as right behind you is Batman.
And there's Batman
embracing.
behind you. I call them
Yeah.
Batmen.
Pardon the interruption, weirdos. This episode is brought to us by our friends at The Perfect Jean. Sorry to keep talking about my Netflix special, but of course, I'm wearing the Perfect Jean in my Netflix special. I am not for everyone. Because they look incredible and they feel incredible. It's the 21st century. I don't know why we can't wear comfortable pants that also look good. But, you know, in the past, your options were yoga pants, like Sting or Phil Collins or something. But now we have jeans that look like designer jeans with ultra high quality craftsmanship. I never have to replace my perfect jeans, and I wear them every single day. And they're buttery soft, silky smooth, and give you stretch so your man parts aren't crushed. These are the best pants I've ever owned. No lie. I own so many pairs and so many different washes. Even their khaki wash, which is incredible. I love a light khaki. It looks like khakis, but it's that soft genie material. Genie? Yeah, the genie material. And what do? They sew in 2% spandex and 2.5% rayon for a sneaky stretchy secret that no one needs to know. I wear them to red carpet events. I wear them to TV tapings, obviously, but they feel like pajamas. Isn't that the best of both worlds? No one needs to know you're basically wearing like a baby's onesie. It's so soft, you'll forget you're wearing pants. It's actually, I have to say that legally, you might forget you're wearing pants. They're incredible. They look awesome. They fit awesome. They last forever, and they spare your nuts. Perfect jeans for the imperfect man. 20% off when you use code WEIRDO at checkout. Liberate your lower limbs. Protect your lower lentils. Whether you got a little clover or a honkin' eggplant, it doesn't matter. They got you covered, and you're going to look good while you're doing it. Support the show. Support your lower half. Go to The Perfect Jean, Jean. theperfectgene.nyc. That's theperfectgene.nyc, and use code WEIRDO for 20% off at checkout. Those guys are incredible. It's also brought to us by our friends at Ritual, the only multivitamin that I've ever taken that I don't just get the feeling that I'm immediately peeing it out. You know when you take a multivitamin and the next time you pee, it's like the color of a highlighter, and you're like, well, there that goes. Ritual has figured that out. You take it, it's got a delayed release, so it waits until it's in your lower intestine to break down so it can actually be absorbed. And the proof is in the pudding. I used to go to the doctor and they were like, you're deficient in this. Ritual has got me covered, and it gets me ready, feeling great to start my day. It's traceable, scientifically developed with high quality key nutrients in bioavailable forms. The ingredients are traceable, like I said, knowing where they came from. What do we got in there? D3, DHA, omega-3 DHA for muscle function, immune function with D3, B12, hard to get if you don't eat meat, B12, traceable, vegan-friendly, non-GMO, sugar-free, gluten-free, major allergen-free, and as I said, they delay the release, which is a game change. It's a minty essence in every bottle that keeps taking them a pleasure. There's a minty aftertaste, so it's actually enjoyable. It's not some disgusting pharmaceutical-smelling horse pill that you have to force down. It's a pleasure to take in the morning. I also take their Synbiotic Plus pre, post, and there's 3 biotics. It's like a probiotic for gut health, and I take their multis for men every single day. Val takes their women. She also took their prenatal when she was pregnant. This is a great multivitamin. If you've resisted in the past, I get it. Ritual has solved those problems. You can support your body and support the show. Ritual is giving weirdos 30% off during your first month. Visit ritual.com/weird to start Ritual, or add Essential for Men to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/weird. All right, everybody, back to Jonathan Scott.
Is, again, not a gossip podcast, do you think Zoe will sing at your wedding? Because that's an interesting one. If I'm coming to your wedding, which I'm assuming I'm not, because I love your credentials. Fucking pals, the deep friends.
Wait, when's our last sleepover that we had?
This podcast is surprisingly long. I would buy a sculpture.
I don't think I'd fit on this couch.
You absolutely wouldn't. You
but that one
would fit on that
there.
one.
Why is that one cushion backwards? That's going to bug me.
There's a stain on it.
No,
but it could go the other
rotate.
way.
It's
Yeah.
The zipper's forward. Zipper's back, people.
Tell me something about your house when you designed it. We'll fix that. Don't do it now, Katie. You know there's spiders in that couch.
Wait, you just told me to sleep on that couch.
Well, I want you to be devoured by spiders. What is something in your house that you guys, again, just for
Wait, I never answered your question.
Tell me.
I don't know that Zoe will sing at the wedding. I love everything she sings, everything she plays. Our house, I designed it so
we listened to her for 2 months. November, December. It's just
greatest holiday album.
It's the greatest holiday albums ever.
But we were talking
album.
about that, and I don't know. I want us to have a night where we don't have to be on, like it. You know, we can enjoy each other. So we haven't even talked about that stuff yet. But I don't know. I don't know if she will or not.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm thinking it through. I wouldn't have wanted to do a funny toast. My vows weren't very funny. You know what I mean? That was enough performance, and then the rest of it was ice cream and dancing. Oh, here's another tip. Ready for a tip?
Yes.
This is a good tip. I'm not going to apologize for
Eat
giving
the
you
ice
this
cream
tip.
after the dancing.
No, fill your butt crack with the ice cream. Okay? Then have a box of hungry squirrels. Wait.
Yes.
No, this is a tip that I wish I could remember the name of our wedding planner, but she said what you do is, because what's a great wedding? I mean, maybe you differ on this, but a great wedding is one where everyone dances. Mm-hmm. You get, first of all, fucking bangers only. What is this fucking bullshit with wedding DJs playing sleeper hits and shit? Beyonce. Play Beyonce. Like, just fucking do it. Let's go. Play Crazy in Love. These are the things that Val and I like to dance to. But regardless of your music choices, after the ceremony, you guys have come out, you've been announced. Get everyone on the dance floor for a photo. Take a huge group photo, then play the song. Play the song everyone has to dance to while everyone's on the dance floor for the photo.
Brilliant idea.
And it just happens.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, instead of 3 brave people dancing, out of the 100, let's say 75 are going to stay on the dance floor. The old people are going to shuffle off to Buffalo.
Well, and we're actually going to put psychedelics into the desserts.
Well, that's
so
what I was
that
going to say as well.
Yeah, that just kind of kicks things off too.
If you had a wedding where everyone was on MDMA, that would be incredible. It would also lead to an orgy, which would
Yeah.
be weird. You'd be like, whose family?
Yeah, exactly. Well, which is also an interesting thing too, because so we recently just did a holiday. We went through Scotland and England and France
I saw
and everything.
that. I saw that on your social. You were in the woods that you played in.
Yeah, well, exactly.
was very sweet.
So that's Lanark, where we were born, my dad was born, and so our family's all from Lanark. It turns out Zoe's mom's family is from Blackwood, which is 10 minutes away from there.
No way.
So there's a 31% chance that we're distant cousins. So who knows? But we won't talk about that.
That's so hot.
So hot.
I didn't think you guys were going to make it until just now. Because that is the kind of heat you can't fake.
No.
30% chance?
No, it's-
That is, that's
I don't
very
know.
funny. I thought that was real science.
No.
Let me ask you this. I need to know, what is your elf watching policy? Because, look, you can't have Christmas without watching Elf. You can't.
Agreed.
So that means you have to watch it with her. Is she able to watch Elf? No?
She doesn't like to watch herself. But
You gotta deep fake it. Deep fake fucking Katy Perry on her face.
This
Do somebody else.
So there's a few films over the holidays that are like my go-to. I love Elf. I
Oh,
love
you gotta-
It's a Wonderful Life.
You gotta do it with Zoe.
Yeah.
You gotta do it with her.
Well, the funny thing is now the kids are at an age where their friends are now realizing that Zoe is an elf, and they watch it and they love it. And so a lot, like, we'll go to the kids' school. Yesterday we were at an event at the kids' school, and other kids will run up and they'll just be like, start waving, "Hi, Zoe!" And these are
6-inch ribbon girls?
What's that?
6-inch
ribbons. Yeah. And it's hilarious and it's cute. And so we don't watch a lot of TV and stuff like in general. I don't even watch TV at all unless I'm like on a plane or something usually. Good murder show before bedtime, but that's about
something
it.
to really haunt you.
Yeah. But no, we
I
the
can't
holiday
believe it.
movies are
You need to tell her this. First of all, it's blonde Zoe. She won't even recognize herself. And she's like, 20 years old in it.
Yeah.
Enough time has passed. She needs to watch Elf.
Yeah.
This is real.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
Do I use that tone and pitch that you're
Play
using?
this clip. Zoe Deschanel has to watch Elf. I get it. Oh, we're all Adam Driver and we can't watch ourselves. You need to watch Elf. If Adam Driver was Elf, he'd watch Elf.
Yeah.
Because it's Christmas. It's not Christmas without Elf.
I want to see Adam Driver as Elf now. You just put that in my head.
Santa. I can't do it. I can hear it. I can hear it in my head.
Yeah.
Santa!
That was so good. Oh my God. Love Adam.
It's a very different flavor.
Hope
yeah.
you find your dad. Say hi to your
Yeah.
dad. My dad left me.
It's just very intense.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Yes.
Anyway.
I think I've heard lore of that movie. Like they didn't think it was working. Do you have any inside scoop on that?
Which movie?
Elf. I heard
Elf.
like the production was kind of like, I think, this is what I think I heard. I'm not even putting it to you. We're just two guys talking. Yeah. That.
Because I really know nothing.
Like, I know. That's why I'm just, forget that we're not looking for insider info is what I mean.
Yeah.
I heard that like Will thought they were making a very different movie from what they were making.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't, you know, there's that horror cut of Elf, the trailer. Have you seen
No.
that? Oh, you got to Google it. Somebody, it's one of the great ones. You know, they say comedy and horror movies, the only difference is the music.
Yeah.
So you can cut Elf into a very good horror trailer.
Really?
I mean, think about it. Zoe's in the shower and he's coming in and you just like...
The raccoon
you know what I mean?
that jumps on his face?
The
These are all
raccoon
terrifying.
is, I mean, you're kidding, but that gave me nightmares.
All right, I gotta
No,
look
but
this
like,
up.
they're like, something's wrong with him. And it's like, there's Christmas.
I
you know?
do remember reading as well the same thing, that it apparently wasn't an easy road to making that movie. And there were a lot of like changes. And even in edit, I believe that they had to go through a lot of passes and stuff.
And I think they realized kind of late, wait, this is a family movie.
Yeah.
And you can sort of tell.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like it was like maybe he's a little like not twisted, but like something's wrong with this guy.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, it's magical. It's Christmas magic.
Yeah.
Anywho,
I mean, it is one of the great Christmas movies. I do love it.
And Josh Rubin. Do you know Josh Rubin? He's one of the funniest people ever. He's in the crowd during the news scene, and we always spot Josh Rubin. He's great.
Yeah. Great. Peter Dinklage.
Old Dinkies.
Dinky's in there. Yeah. You got Adam. Or not Adam. Oh, my God.
The dad?
No, Conan's...
Andy Richter.
Andy.
Yeah.
Adam.
But who's the dad? Because that's a classic.
James Caan.
James Caan, yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing is like, you know, I actually do play through. Coming over here, I was playing a throwback jams mix of music, and I'm like, for me, I love the genre I grew up in, the music my parents played at the holidays. It's Bing Crosby, it's Nat King Cole, and you know the movies that we would watch. You know, It's a Wonderful Life. You know, what's the other one with Scrooge?
Bill Murray.
No, the original with Alistair Sim.
Oh,
like I like the A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
All of these, it just brings back a sense of nostalgia. Well, my hope is, you know, that the kids will keep coming back to the house and they'll keep, you know, we have the holidays, we have everything happen. They'll love those traditions, they'll love those memories, and we'll have those moments. Our family, there's not really a lot of drama in our family. You know, our parents were pretty strict growing up and everything, but we have these beautiful moments, these beautiful family memories, and I love that our parents have now moved here, and so we can actually spend time together again. But that's important for me. And so all the chaos and the craziness and everything goes on.
Yeah.
Holidays are my favorite time because I love the music, I love the movies, I love the food, and that's what's important to me.
Yeah, I'm going for it this year. Every year I make the pledge, this is going to be the Christmas. It always makes me a little depressed.
Yeah.
I get, because look, I'm not trying to shit on my family. I'm just saying like, it as a group, we weren't always gelling.
Yeah.
I'll say that. And the holidays was always like the time we spent the most time together. And there was all this pressure and...
Well, that's why they always say that, you know, family, like holiday dinners are always like the catalyst for every major family argument, and it's true.
Yeah.
I don't know what it, and I would see a lot of that could happen for extended periods of time because you get people together and, you know, inevitably, you know.
And you bring in pressure of gifts and stuff. And look, we're talking about...
I don't like gifts.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Part of the reason, though, dude, is why I don't like gifts is because I saw that it's not for everybody. And I really wish... this is compassion. I'm not shitting on my parents. I'm like, I wish we could have been like, look, we're not great at gifts. That's okay. Let's do something else. Maybe we're a trip. Maybe we should go on a trip on Christmas or something. I don't know how you could have saved my family's Christmas. But what we did was Christmas Eve, Barnes & Noble. And it's fucking sad. Yeah. And so like, when I went to Val, I don't mean to change the whole subject, but when I went to Val's house for Christmas, and they're great at Christmas, they'll give you a thing that you mentioned 6 months ago. Like they're great at gifts. Or even if they're like swing shots in the dark, they're based on something you might like. Like, but not just your obvious interest. No, like a lower level interest or a book that you wanted to read.
Some people are good at that,
And it's like emotional for me. And I'm like, there was something, it took a toll on me to like shop for my mom on Christmas Eve, 10 minutes from the house, and they wrap it. And every year we give her a cat calendar. I mean, even saying that makes me just want to jump in a furnace. Like, I can't stand it. But going back to the theme of this entire conversation, okay, so no bagpipes. And then no good gifts. I'm a great gift giver, and I'm faking it. Yeah. You know what you do? You just write it down. That's all a great gift giver is. You just have a folder in your phone called Val. She could find it at any moment and see what I've been, because I'm not naturally good at it, but you put the effort in. And the effort is only a result of the trauma, so I can't even fault the trauma. Yeah. The trauma was the engine that led to improvement in the same way our not as successful relationships, let's not even call them failed. They just, they weren't long-term or permanent relationships, led to the us that could say like, you know what? Christmas this year is going to be fucking great. Yeah. And having kids is great for that because you're like, it's all about Leela. I don't
totally about them. Yeah.
It's like a second wedding. You go like, we don't need Roberta there. Yeah. And now it's just about making Leela believe in Santa Claus.
You know, you were saying a second ago about, you know, failing in relationships, and I never understood why failure was, because you're kind of taught in certain, you know, periods throughout your life that failure is bad. Failure's bad. Every successful person in business has failed way more than they've succeeded.
Yeah.
Why can't that be accepted the same in relationships?
I know.
You can't get to a great relationship without having a bunch of failures. That's how you evolve and adapt. And
you said it. You don't even know what you want.
No.
You didn't know what you wanted.
Yeah.
And you were still unconsciously reenacting trauma, ritualistically reenacting traumas because that was what was familiar. And they can be small traumas. I don't mean like abuse necessarily. I just mean like, oh, that's familiar. But guess what? The fishbowl you were raised in isn't as fun as the ocean. Fucking break the bowl. You don't need to bring the bowl.
Exactly. And it's also too, like, I see what you mean about having like, you know, holiday memories that aren't really something that you get excited about or whatever. Yeah. In my mind, I have certain situations and particularly places that I visited with previous partners that really kind of tainted that place that I really did like. And now it's like, and in my mind, I'm like, is it that I would never want to go there again because I don't want to relive that? Or do I go and make a new memory?
Reclaim it.
Reclaim it. Exactly.
Reclaim it.
Can you do that with a holiday? Can you do that with a location?
I love that. I really feel seen. Thank you for hearing me, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to rip up a flag. It was a fine flag. It's not a failure. It's just, I just want a different flag in Mount Christmas. And it's funny, you've inspired me because I've had places that I thought were ruined by like fights. Like I had I used to just get screamed at. I wasn't much of a fighter. I was like more of a Chandler. I'd wait for a pause and say something horrible, but say it calmly.
Pour gasoline on the inferno.
Yeah. And one of those happened at the Grove. I remember just being screamed at the Grove. I was that. You ever see a couple just having a real fight at the fucking Grove? Yeah. Well, I was that guy.
Oh wow.
And everybody was like, "Yikes! Let's go to fucking P.F. Chang's and forget we saw that." But I can go to the Grove now. But that's a dumb example. But there are vacation spots, places that you'd think like, well, that's ruined. And then more and more that you embody this perspective. There's an Avett Brothers song. It's like, I don't know if it's Avett. No, it is an Avett Brothers song. But it's talking about how all of those experiences like pave the road that lead you where you're going.
That's exactly it.
And nothing, like me saying, I'm a good gift giver because my family was really bad at it.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Gift giver.
Then we date. Anybody you sing with, you end up dating. Did you know that?
Well, does Val know about us?
There's something going on here, isn't there? The guy.
Yeah. What does that make? You know, you're the one witnessing all of this.
Well, I'm a fundamentalist Christian, and I need a chaperone. I kiss dating goodbye. Okay. If you get that reference, that's a weird one. I was going to ask what something in your house that you're particularly proud of. Meaning, I'm giving you a green light to tell me about a load-bearing beam that has.
Yeah, I thought I was literally coming here just to give you some construction advice.
No, I'm giving.
Are we starting now? Are we starting the
podcast now?
podcast
This is where
now?
the podcast starts now.
Okay.
Aren't you glad that I didn't say what would you do with this studio? Fuck that shit.
By the way,
want
first of
you
all,
to,
can I just say I'm gonna pat your ego for a moment here.
I'll get it ready.
You are an incredible
Nico's face.
conversationalist.
Oh, you are too, man.
And your talk show, I thought was so incredible.
That's from the background, yeah.
The podcast is so incredible because it's not. I hate going on to a show, and I've said this for years. Like, no one tunes into me if I'm doing a segment because they want to learn the next trending paint colors.
Right.
They want to laugh. They want to hear something from the heart. They want to.
Right.
So anyway, just so you know,
I really
this has been a
appreciate
total
that.
joy.
I really appreciate
But
that.
in my house,
Yeah.
my favorite room is the solarium. So we built out. We basically did a small addition in the back so we could enclose.
SOL. It's
Yeah.
like a sunroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's the most naturally light-filled room. It's literally like a kettle-top glass roof that I totally just
Threw up
burped.
a little bit?
Yeah, I totally burped in the mic. So I'm really rude. Remember we said I'm not the classic one?
No, I love it.
I'm more like Canadian tuxedo.
Yes, which is very
Trucker
trendy
mouth
right now
kind of thing,
because Brad Pitt wore one in Once Upon
I
a Time
taught him
in
everything he
Hollywood.
knows.
I wrote down, I need a Brad Pitt story from you.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Yeah, dude, he was great. Anyway, solarium. So that's where we hosted our dinner the other night, and it's just so beautiful. We have all the trees, olive trees in there, and a green wall, and it's
What's a green wall? Like it
all
makes
plant,
oxygen?
like a plant wall.
Yeah,
and
very good for the air, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful, and like we grow a lot of our own vegetables and everything as well. We have the Let Us Grow farm stands and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and,
cool.
Zoe actually started that company with her ex-husband, and we're all very close. And it's nice to be able to be surrounded by nature. Where we live is so quiet and private, and you literally have this magical moment in that room. You sit there, and if you're reading or writing or whatever you're doing, it's just incredible. So
This really, it's kind of slid by, but you were like, you don't watch TV, and I'm just so glad that you're not, because you could be sitting in the solarium.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'd have to install a TV in the solarium, and that's just
Which would
it's
ruin
a lot
it.
of work.
Now it's blue light. It's unnatural.
But anyway, no, that's
So you made a solarium. There's furniture in it? I'm really trying to picture it.
Well, it's I'll show you pictures after. But we have usually I custom designed 2 sofas, big sofas for in there. They're super cozy and loungy, and it's just that with a coffee table.
Nice.
When we're doing an event, we do long harvest tables across the whole room between the trees, and then we'll set it up, and our happy number in there is 24. We can have 24 guests for dinner.
I love that you know that.
You
You should have a sign that says occupancy over 24 is not socially viable.
Exactly.
Like it's not a fire hazard.
No pants, no shoes, and no one over 24 people allowed in this space. But we set up the whole, I literally designed it to solve all of our problems as the kids get older, and they're 6 and 8 right now, and what their needs will be, and do we want to have people come visit? We've got the guest house, and even in the yard, when we throw big Halloween parties or whatever it might be, I've set it up so there's infrastructure around the entire yard to plug in bouncy castles, to do this, to that. Anything I could possibly think of so that we can host and have friends around. It's set up so it really makes everything easier for us because you have your zones. Everything's all zoned.
Isn't it funny? Look, I don't mean to belabor this, but I have to imagine you like what you do. So if this gets old, you let me know. But it's interesting how like little things like outlet placement. An old hotel, where's the outlet? It's behind the bed. You have to move the bed.
Yeah.
And now there's USB-Cs. And I'm just like that. Human animals aren't that complicated. They just want to be like, did you think of me? And it actually goes back to what you're saying about this podcast. It's like, can we actually just create a space wherein we witness one another and like create something together?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And say, I see you.
Yeah.
And a space can say, I see you.
So Drew, and my philosophy is that your home should make your life easier, period.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Wow.
Do you have, half your life spent doing laundry for the kids? And all right, maybe there's something there you can do that makes that easier or faster.
Yeah.
Do you work from home and you need flex space? There are so many solutions. Every family is different. What I love is we're actually relaunching our website to be more of like an online magazine because we had a print magazine for a while, and print, it's just a very challenging realm, but people want the assistance, they want the help. Our sole goal with drewandjonathan.com is to get people enough information so they can make life easier, love their home more. You shouldn't, feel you're spending all your time struggling with the house and then you have no time to enjoy with the family.
Totally.
So that's our entire philosophy is how can we help people make their home make life easier.
This has been great. I've really enjoyed it. Oh, tell me a Brad Pitt thing. That's what we were going to do.
Oh,
Would you mind?
So the funny thing is, so Brad did Celebrity IOU, which we just finished our 55th episode of that show. It's incredible.
Wow.
Every time we cast a new season, I'm like, I don't know how I fell into such a great, fun.
You just touched on it. It's so of use, and that it doesn't mean people are using you, but people are excited for useful people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, and you sometimes you want to say thank you. So for anyone who doesn't know, Celebrity IOU, basically we partner with big celebrities, and they give back to someone who's been instrumental in their life in making them the success that they are. Halle Berry gave back to her 4th grade teacher. Melissa McCarthy gave back to her uncle, who was a policeman who actually got injured in the field and had mobility trouble at home. And everyone's got a different story. Brad Pitt, it was his makeup artist who'd been with him for 35 years through thick and thin. And really, he said, like he would literally just go to her house and crash on her sofa sometimes when he just needed a break, he needed to get away.
Wow.
And
that must have been hard on her.
Yeah.
She's actually just lays around.
Yeah. The funny thing too is the number one question I got after we did the Brad Pitt episode was, did he smell nice?
Yeah, mahogany and courage.
I mean, I don't remember exactly what he smelled like, but I'm sure it was fine. What I remember
somebody is in charge of his smell.
He is. You know what? There aren't people think there are all these people around him. The dude is so down to earth.
Yeah, I actually didn't think he was that sort of way, and I'm going to take back my rib.
It was a joke.
There are some people, but there are some people that just have it. Yeah. I know that's so stupid.
No, it's true.
But I'm like, this guy's.
But
fucking...
what really made a mark on me is so throughout the renovation, he came back several times to work with us and get all these different jobs done that we wanted to do, and he remembered every single person's name on the crew and in the construction crew. So the camera crew and the construction crew. And when he came back for the reveal, yeah,
that's
exactly. This is Marty M.
Marty's coming up to you. No, on the left.
Sorry, Marty.
He was just so chill about it and everything. And because sometimes you work with people that we've implemented a no douchebag rule. We're no longer going to work with people who are in it for the publicity or in it for something else. We want genuinely
It can't be to
amazing
promote
people.
The movie.
No, exactly. Yeah. And so, because I found that the people who are not genuinely into being on Celebrity IOU, they're like rushing to get out, or and it's like they're accommodating us by making time. I'm like, this is really supposed to be a beautiful thing, giving back to someone who's so important in your life.
Yeah.
And these people have wanted to do this for a long time, and what better way than something that's actually going to transform their lives?
Yeah.
And some of the stories, I even remember Michael Bublé, it was his grandfather that got him into music, sat him down at the record player, put on crooner tunes, and got him into music, even negotiated with a local bar to allow him as a child to go in and sing and perform his very first public performance.
They're like, you do have to have 2 martinis.
Yeah, exactly. It's two
you
martini
can come
minimum.
in, but you have to have 2 martinis.
But so then his grandfather, when he was older and his health was ailing, Michael actually was giving back to the nurse who was with his grandfather for the last 10 years of his life.
Wow.
Who, when the grandfather passed away, the nurse didn't really have a home to raise her child safely. So Michael renovated and gifted this to her.
Wow.
So everyone has a story, and we realized it's the excitement of having the celebrity, but it's the gift and the benefit is going to somebody who really needs it.
And it has to be genuine.
Yeah.
And heartfelt.
Which is why we haven't had you on the show.
Well, I've been sitting here going like, God, I got to do a movie or something. so I can get in here.
How do I get this?
No, it's just for me.
No, okay, I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to tell you something. This is really, it's not bitchy, but it's a little bitchy. A lot of celebrities will reach out and
they just want something for themselves.
We had one celebrity that reached out and they wanted to gift it to their wife. I'm like, but wait, you guys both live in the same house. And he's like, yeah, no, but she could really use this.
That's like when the mafia, like when Tony Soprano would give Carmela $99,000 because $100,000 was to avoid taxes. And it was a gift.
But also, we've had celebrities who reach out and they want us to have them on CIOU, but they're going to gift back to their investment property. And I'm like, I really don't think you're understanding the purpose of the show.
Yeah.
So,
oh man.
But you know what? Teach their own. I applaud the
boldness,
boldness,
the honesty
of asking, but no, that's not the case.
So Brad knew everybody's names, and he was down to earth.
Hyper obsessed
Would he just
with
like eat a
architecture.
sandwich?
Yeah, he just ate with everybody. He just,
Wow.
like, just, there's certain
See, it
people
just makes
too.
me happy that he's not like, I'm doing South Beach or whatever. Like he's just
No,
fucking
I'm telling you,
honking
like,
down.
I can't even. I could go through the list if we had. I don't even have the list, but like, Viola Davis, Allison Janney, like they're all so kind. They're just they're down. I don't like pretentious people. I don't like people that have to like have trouble like just being normal.
Yeah.
And so when we get to work with these folks, the new season as well is incredible. I don't know. I can't say yet who's in the new season, but it's when it's announced, it's like you'll just see this eclectic mix of incredible people, and it's a joy to make. And we still make 40 episodes of our shows a year: Property Brothers, Brother versus Brother, Celebrity IOU.
Wow.
And then we produce another 13 series with other talent in addition to that. So
And you don't feel overburdened?
Drew and I naturally divide and conquer everything. So it's been pretty great. On the product side, I run with all of that. Drew runs with the production. We're at a point, though, where I love that we only film in one place. And so we're only filming our shows in LA because I love taking the kids to school in the morning, and I love being home for dinner every night.
Yeah.
And that never happened in the past. Drew has a 16-month-old now. And so priorities have changed for Drew and Linda.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. Linda. That sounds like a fake wife. And Drew's wife, Linda. If you don't want to tell me his wife's name.
I just don't trust you enough yet.
Yeah. We'll get the real name later. And how is it becoming a dad? I think can I start with a compliment?
Yeah.
If I were to like lab design a guy that could enter into a relationship and the kids would be psyched, it's you. And it's not because of the white horse video. I mean, like, you're real. You seem like you'd be really, really fun with kids. And you do a cool thing, like a kids love playing, building,
kinesthetic.
creating, and you're someone who's maintained that spark.
Let me tell you why it's funny that you say this, because genetically you couldn't have created a better bonus dad.
Bonus dad.
I used to be a clown. I was a professional clown for many years.
We haven't even talked about magic.
I'm a magician.
Yes.
And I can build stuff.
Yeah.
What else?
No, I know.
So,
I mean, that had to be something that Zoe recognized. I mean, talk about things changing. You go like, it's not just like, does he have a motorcycle or whatever? Is he exciting for me? But you're going like, oh, this guy just did close-up magic. The kids are going to love it.
I think it was the glutes for Zoe.
Your glutes?
The glutes. I think that's what sold Zoe. Yeah. What?
So
Don't
you
laugh
did
at the glutes.
clowning?
I was a clown, yeah.
I laughed at the admission, not your glutes. I'd never laugh at your glutes.
No, we did. So when we were kids, so we grew up in a pretty strict household. We grew up in a ranch, and so like we didn't get a allowance to do stuff. You do it, and so like we shoveled horse shit, and we're painting fences and weeding and blah blah blah. But when we turned 8, my dad legitimately told us we had to get a job. He wanted us to learn to work for somebody else, to do something else. And so we had the paper open and we're looking at the classifieds, which nowadays nobody will know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
But, and we saw an ad from Parks and Rec, and it was learn to be a clown. They had a workshop, learn to juggle, face paint, do magic, and then they'll hire you for parades and stuff afterward if it works out. So we're 8 years
your dad
old.
was like,
Not what I was thinking. Not what I had in mind. Scottish accent. And so my dad is the dad from
Head.
He Ponce New.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I married an expert.
So I married an expert. So that is my dad. Yeah. Anyway, so we did this course, learned this, and sure enough, they started putting us out for parades and as assistant clowns and stuff because we're still just kids.
It's funny because clowning totally ruins the fact that you're twins.
It does, because we had different characteristics.
But maybe that was what you liked about it. It's like, finally, I'm just Jonathan.
Yeah.
Or just Boner.
Drew's been trying to
Boner
make
the
it just
clown.
Property Brother for a long time.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
been trying to kill me,
It's
but
not going to happen.
no. But anyway, did that, and eventually we started our own business. At like 12, we were doing our own birthday parties and stuff, making like $50 an hour, which was
Crazy.
incredible. Like, this is what? So I'm 45. So it's like 30 years ago, and anyway, so we eventually I started doing more magic instead of clowning because I didn't like putting on all the makeup and everything every time.
Yeah.
And did that for years. Won a bunch of awards. Even performed like a big show in Vegas and stuff like that. And
Do you know I love magic?
no, I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
I like legit love magic.
Dude, we just had a magic dinner party at our house 2 weeks ago.
Who did you have? Who came?
Jackson Ridd's the name of the magician.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever met him.
No.
Incredibly talented.
Yeah.
We had a tarot card reader as well. And I'm telling you, everyone. So we invited everyone who we know who appreciates magic who are not magicians.
Yeah.
We wanted to really experience. And it was the most incredible evening. Everyone left and their minds were blown. I even performed as well. I did a card selection where I find the card with a nail gun. Everyone knows.
I love
construction.
this.
And
you shoot the deck, and it's only.
I had somebody hold a board, and then I throw the cards and I shoot through that at the board. And of course, they're sweating and whatever. But it's a good time. So I
That's
still
real magic. That's like a real
Oh
thing.
yeah, I'm obsessed. I love magic. I'm a member of the castle, and I did a
Yeah.
renovation at the castle too for them. I added space there at the castle.
Forgetting his name. Katie, would you Google "You Made a Weird Magician"? Justin Willman. It's not Willman. Sorry, Justin. Justin's incredible and hilarious. It's Taylor or Tyler or fuck. I'm embarrassed. I'm forgetting his name. But he has a trick that I literally spend nights still laying up and trying to think about. I do magic as well as a appreciator.
Yeah.
Like I like knowing how things are done. Not to ruin it, and I don't go blabbing, but I like the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
I like the art of it, and his trick. We're gonna try and get his name. Come on, I bet I have him in my phone as magician. Let's see,
What do you have me in your phone as?
magician.
All right.
No, fuck. I'm sorry, buddy. The trick is okay. Can you go on YouTube and type in lottery ticket trick? The trick is, I'm going to tell you everything,
Okay.
and you're going to love it.
Okay.
Maybe we should just watch it. But he gets there's 5, 6 people around. And I know what you're thinking as a magician, you're like, what happened before the cameras start rolling? But like, I'm like, it can't be that. You know what I mean? Like there's certain tricks where it's like, maybe they pulled them on the phone.
Yeah, like if
You
I
know
see
what
a
I
trick
mean?
and I want to figure it out, I like to be there in person to witness it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we weren't there before it happened, but I don't see any way in there. Nate, what's his name? Nate Sanaforth. Yeah, Nate. Okay, so Nate Sanaforth.
Okay.
He gets 5 people. I've also seen him do it in a crowd to call out numbers. And then he takes out a lottery ticket in his pocket, and it's those numbers. And that is the best fucking trick. And I've asked him a lot of questions about it. He lets me ask him one question about it per year. And one of them was, I like to ask things like, is it really random? And he goes like, yeah. And I wanted to prove that one time because one time he did the trick by standing with his back to the audience and throw a ball.
Yeah.
And if you caught it, you said one of the numbers.
Right.
I know as I'm saying it, it sounds boring to me, but if you see someone, 5 random people name 5 numbers, then he takes out his wallet, which was on him the whole time.
Yeah.
And obviously, and I'm not trying to take anything away, I'm like, how can we do this? Like literally, you'd have to build something. Like the mechanics of it.
So what I think is great, so I used to design a lot of the illusions that I perform, and I intentionally designed illusions to fool other magicians, and it pisses them off. They fucking hated it. Generally, there are only so many principles in magic, and everything you see is a different color painted prop or a different
Well, that's
presentation.
why I was like, is it some sort of force? You
Yeah.
get them to say the numbers you want.
And again, it could be any number of ways. I appreciate the artistry that goes into creating a routine because if someone was to figure out how a routine worked, normally the reaction would be like, oh,
it's
well,
always disappointing.
that's it.
Yeah.
But to actually come up with that and all of the safeguards to prevent someone figuring, it is so complicated and it's so incredibly, you need talent in order to do that.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I appreciate. So I can go in and most of the time I'll know how all
Even
the
with a
tricks are done.
mentalist trick like that?
I used to do a lot of mentalism, yeah, and I loved mentalism, and so there.
Because I saw a guy at the castle, same thing, bartender, everybody shouted out a card, and he turned the cards over, and it was the cards that everyone had said.
Yeah.
And you're just like, that's just...
Well, the chances are he's probably a demon.
Yeah, a demon.
Or an evil wizard.
Yeah.
But no, it's stuff like I can appreciate it, and even if I can't figure it out, it doesn't. It doesn't eat me out. Eat me out. It does eat me out. But, it doesn't
Rim job.
Yes, rim job. It doesn't eat me up inside because you can't ultimately figure out everything because there are so many different methods to accomplish something. Even if you think you know the one method, it might not be the method, and there's others. I remember like Copperfield as well. He used to have multiple ways that he could perform certain effects.
Wow.
So that even if somebody thought they figured one way out, he could actually do it another way. So there's a lot that goes into that.
Do you have stories like that? Let me prime you with this. I used to do David Blaine's name a number between 1 and 50.
Yeah.
Odd numbers. And sometimes they'd say, "You mean like this?" And you go, "Yeah." And you'd have to adapt. Those are my favorite magic stories, is where like something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And you have to like, has that happened to you?
You'll get people sometimes who will intentionally try and throw you off or ruin it. It was funny because not in necessarily in a malicious way, but I was working with I don't know if I'm allowed to say, I don't know if it's been announced for CIOU who this celebrity was, but huge celebrity. She's incredibly talented and award-winning. Anyway, so turns out in the scene I'm doing with her, I'm just performing a really simple kid's trick, like a vanishing coin kind of a thing. And she aggressively grabs my arm and says, "I know it's in this other hand." And I was like,
Was it Sarah Silverman?
no.
Because one time my friend, who's also a magician, was doing magic for Sarah, and I was deeply embarrassed that she kept going like, "Oh, so you can make me take that?" Like she was being funny, but I was like, "Stop it."
Yeah. No, she was still being sweet about it, and she thought it was funny in the scene that we were doing. But there's some people who, I remember magicians
They don't want to be
always,
tricked.
a lot of magicians didn't want to perform on Letterman because Letterman,
Would famously ruin it.
yeah. And so for me, I would never ruin someone's effect. But I can appreciate when somebody is really, really skilled. And when somebody's doing something, like that's why the kids always want me to teach them magic tricks. This is why kids are the worst. Because you show them something, and they immediately go and perform it for somebody badly.
Yeah.
And then right after they finish, you want me to tell you how it's done?
Yeah.
And like, so it's like,
No, this is me and Leela.
you got to learn.
We've been doing fake thumb stuff, which can be some of the fake thumb magic is actually.
Oh yeah.
I think I convinced everybody I worked with that I was a demon because I would make cigarettes disappear, lit cigarettes.
Yeah.
And because I walked around with a fake thumb, because I'm a dork, but I also looked like a fucking wizard.
Yeah.
It was the best.
Do the fake pinky for her. Where you just take the pinky and you just push it into your hand.
Yes!
It's
Yes!
right in there. Ow.
Yes!
See.
Everyone does thumb, you do pinky.
I do pinky.
That's very good. Yeah, Leela, I hope she's into magic because it teaches you how to follow a recipe. I don't mean so she can cook. It just helps your brain.
No, it's magic is great, and it's also it's an interesting thing. I think when kids start to, and I remember myself, I learned from the Tarbell Book of Magic. There was no internet when I was learning magic.
Yeah.
It was all
Me too. I got books from the library.
Yeah, and it's very hard to learn
very
visual art
Figure
from
one.
words. Yeah, exactly.
Now you can just go online.
Yeah, but so you would learn and you would practice and practice, and you realize that the better you got, the more impressive the reactions were. And I think it's a fun, healthy thing.
Yeah.
But
also
to get interested in.
trains you to slow your heart rate, like The Witcher. Like you have to nothing jacks your adrenaline. My adrenaline. I go on stage. I'm very calm. I feel very comfortable. My heart rate definitely goes up, but I like going on stage.
Someone's jacking your adrenaline.
Someone's jacking my adrenaline. I named my dick Adrenaline. And but if you want me to do a magic trick, my hands will shake.
Yeah.
I haven't yet learned. That's why it's so cool that David Blaine is so like, do you want me to? Like, because he's so low.
Well, and that's his persona as well, as not having like any emotion at all.
Yeah.
He's got to be one of the most talented manipulators of all time.
Yeah.
Like his
Did you see-
prestidigitation is next level.
What is what is it called? I can't believe I'm blanking on it. I used to practice it all the time. It's called his double lift is called the press off, that you just apply just enough pressure so you're lifting 2 cards instead of 1, but it's the most natural. He flips it on this part of his hand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because
It's fucking dope. I don't know if he made it up. Double lift press off, I think is what it's called.
there's I mean, That's why you're supposed to practice something so much. Even to this day, there are certain routines that I do that I've been doing since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And
it's in there.
It's natural. Like
Yeah.
nobody, even if they're a magician, like you can't tell. And the problem is I'm so busy in other aspects that I don't really get to create. I have illusions that I actually designed and never performed, just because I got so busy doing construction and Property
28
Brothers
shows.
and 20,000 shows.
20,000 shows.
Yeah, but
How
I
you
do
a double
miss
lift?
magic.
How do you do your double lift? Do you go from the back?
I have a number of different ways. I'm not going to tell you how I do all
go
these
from the
things.
side?
I got multitudes of
I'm
manipulations.
sure you do. I'm very
See the
impressed.
alliteration on that.
I loved it.
It's,
and I'm not going to acronym it.
But when somebody does a bad double lift, it's
Or triple lift.
difficult.
Well, my favorite trick to do has a triple lift in it. But it also has a moment where it's a David Blaine trick where you're holding a card, and if they do flip it over, it is what you said it is, which is one of my favorite. It's like built in. The doubt allowance is
Yeah.
high.
Well,
so if they go, really? And it is, and then you're like, fuck you.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Always plan on the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a moment later in the trick where if they did the same thing, it would ruin
would
everything.
bug it
But
out.
they've already learned. They've
Yeah.
already learned to shut the fuck up and just be delighted, damn it.
Part of being a good magician is making sure you can pick the right participants.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, it's the same with hypnotists. Like I did a little bit of hypnotism, not much, because I actually met a guy whose name was something Sterling, and my middle name's Silver, and we were like, this could be great. We could do a show with magic and hypnotism called Sterling Silver. Never happened, but he was teaching me some stuff, and I thought it was so fascinating. But one of the things is when you're looking at your audience, everybody has the ability to be hypnotized, and it's almost like playing along, but just subconsciously you're kind of like just okay with the suggestions that they're giving, and you kind of do it. But there are certain people who, if you do not want to be hypnotized, you cannot be hypnotized. It will not happen. It will not work.
There's a firewall.
Yeah, and so you have to be good at who you're sussing out.
That's
and
right.
Same with a magician. There are some people who, magic is not wizardry. It's the art of tricking people. That's all it is.
So you want to find a trickable person.
Yeah, or somebody who's just okay playing along, who's sort of sweet and innocent, and they're okay playing along because you're putting on a good show.
Or they're already hypnotized.
Yeah.
Like, I always forget his name. I always have you look it up. Darren?
Chris?
Yeah, you know who it is.
The guy who's that new special.
He has the Netflix special where he heals people, but it's not real.
Yeah.
Fuck. I love him. He's an ardent atheist. Anyway, he does a trick. He opens a special. It's a wide shot. He's in the streets of London, and he just goes up to somebody. But it's key that they're like Darren Brown. The key is, and this isn't taking anything away from him, but to your point, he's finding someone who's walking to work. So they're like doing something by rote, and they're already in kind of a susceptible place. And he gets them to give him their cell phone and their wallet just by saying, like, he asks for directions, and then he goes, and you'll give me your cell phone? I can have your cell phone? And can I have your wallet too? And he gives both of them and he walks away. And it's incredible. And you know it's real. It's fucking insane.
Yeah. Nobody's getting my wallet or my cell phone.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, I've also been hypnotized. I went to a hypnotherapist for a long time, and I loved her. I still love her.
She hypnotized you to love her.
I know she was always planting. But you remember everything that happens. You're just like in a certain...
Yeah.
You
You're just
allow
okay-
yourself
you're
to
okay with
enter
it.
into a state. But you know what would happen when I would be hypnotized is my arms would levitate. And she said that was normal. Like, because you're surrendering so much, you almost like lose track of your body, and you're just like,
What do I do with my hands?
what do I do with my hands? Do you have any thoughts on the meaning of life, just real quick before we go?
The meaning, I mean, my whole thought is the meaning of life is to live it. And I don't know what people are planning for. I'll live it in the future, or they're dwelling on, I didn't live it right in the past.
Yeah.
Guess what? Right now. Live it right now.
Yeah.
Don't save up your whole life to accidentally have something happen and you never get to enjoy anything.
Yeah. Or I'll be happy once I get to the beach.
Yeah.
Be happy on the plane.
Yeah. Totally fine.
Be happy on the plane.
That's why I feel like most people take everything. Right now, everyone seems poised to fight about everything. I'm like, I think we have a lot more similarities than we think we do. But we sure could, do well with a conversation. I'm okay. I think it was Larry King that said, if I only ever spoke to people with the same opinion as me, I'd never learn anything.
Yeah.
It's true. Let's just take it easy a little, lighten up a little bit.
I completely agree. Any feelings about God or the creation or anything, what's going on?
I mean, for me, you talk to so many people who have so many passionate opinions about everything out there. I have no problem with how somebody wants to live their life, how they want to worship, who they want to worship, as long as it's done in a way that doesn't infringe on the rights of others. And, for me, I grew up Presbyterian, and, I don't necessarily think people have to go into a building to show their faith. People can pursue their religion and their faith in different ways. But I do believe that, I'd like to believe that there's something more than what we are and what we're experiencing right now. Who knows what that is? But
Yeah. You made me think of the quote. It's anyone can go to church. The trick is to never leave it. Sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Like you find that so many people that get so obsessed about something that was told to them by a human.
Yeah.
In a building.
Yeah.
And they maybe forget what the overarching idea was of a certain practice. And so that's why, you look at a lot of companies, a lot of corporations that have basically weaponized religion to try and convince people to do something, vote a certain way, do something a certain way. I'm like, I don't trust those people. And so I hate, I did a lot of fighting when it comes to renewable energy and getting people to understand what's actually happening in energy. And it's pretty scary. I did a documentary on PBS and it won a bunch of awards.
Edit that out.
But it was called Jonathan Scott's Power Trip. And the thing that I discovered is it's so blatant these days that these disinformation campaigns, and it's so unhealthy. It does not help people. It hurts people. And these companies just keep getting richer by doing it. And so for me, that's the real problem I have when it comes to religion, is that these outside influences have realized they can use people's faith to
co-opt,
go after their agenda. So
yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I like your style.
Thanks.
I like your moves.
Foot touch to finish it out.
Who's bigger? You're bigger.
You're wearing like those flared out bottom shoes.
Yeah.
No, this is because you have to take it off and then
with a zip.
Yeah, here we go. Now take it off.
Are you 13? 14?
13. Oh,
we're exactly the same.
Oh, that's sweet.
Sorry, bro.
Oh man.
Not sorry, bro, but we could have.
The sweetest end to any podcast.
This was a real pleasure, my friend.
Dude.
Thank you. Would you say keep it crispy? It's how we end.
Keep it crispy.
He just did it. Oh, and these are for you. The first person. You have similar hair to me. Modern Mammals. Get it. Magic Mind.
I thought you were giving me your shoe.
No, not my shoes.
Shoe.
Those are for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Peace out.
Thanks, everybody.
You made it weird. You made it weird. You made it weird. Oh, yeah.